Hi everyone and welcome to Chatelainmakes. I'm Lorraine. So this is a video on some of my makes that I recently made. These are amigurumi mostly and a comparison. Okay, so itchy nose, sorry. I was just pulling some of my stuff from the living room and of course fibers moving around and gotta have my coffee. Which was just made and it's still too hot. Whew. Okay, so my friend Tori from Polly's Crochet Creations sent me some yarn to help make her sister-in-law. Hopefully she's not watching this, or if she already knows, but I will put a warning out and talk to Tori before I publicize this. Okay, so anyway, she sent me some yarn that her mother-in-law had started a project and asked me if I could do something with it. So I knitted a sweater. This sweater, I'm sure I've shown this, but this sweater, I'll show it again. This sweater is, I used a pattern, a basic cardigan pattern from Yarn Inspirations, and then I just added my own cable to it. So the purple yarn is the yarn that was Tori's mother-in-law's. So here is the sweater. This is not latte cake, it is lollipop from Walmart in a kind of a cream color. Okay, now when I did this, I thought the sleeves were long enough, but they weren't quite, so I tried picking up stitches with the lollipop and it was too difficult, so I went and just added more ribbing with the purple. So, and I put an extra button on than what the pattern calls for, and let me just spread this out so you can see the cabling here. There we go. Okay, and it is kind of like a V-neck. So that is one of my finished projects. Okay, that. I have a bag here. And she wanted some coasters. So these are just a simple crochet. So I did two. Now this is the one that her mother-in-law had started. So this is the cowl, and it's just the basic what she had started, the ribbing, and then I did it long enough so that it can just be turned over, or you could use it lengthwise and then just kind of, like this on your neck. So let's see if I can figure this out. Okay, so it was a flat one, okay? So you can see she had picked up stitches here. I think it was supposed to be like a sweater or a garment. So I did not rip any of this back. I just picked up the stitches at the top and then just finished it off as a nice cowl. Okay, so that's that one. Then I had a pattern. Oh shoot, I don't have the pattern here. If I remember, I will post it in the description box what pattern it is. This it is a kind of an Asian name, and the designer is overseas. So here is the hat that I did with the yarn. It's kind of a diamond pattern here, and I did the ribbing a little bit longer. Now I did make this pattern when I first got it in kind of a camel color hat, and I know for myself that it's not quite long enough on the ears, the ribbing part, so I did do the ribbing a little bit longer on here. So let's see, I have the head here. Let me see if I can put that on and you can see how it looks. Oh, I didn't notice that. There we are. Okay, and then I also made another one. This one, I made it more of a slouchy. You can see it is still the diamond painting, the diamond shapes. So I used the same pattern and just did it longer before I did the decreases. I am also working on a cowl. This is a 5x2. Have it on my square interchangeable shorties that I bought from Antoinette from Hookin' and Stitchin' Island style. I always have to stop before I say her name because I still want to say two OGs. So, and I love working on these needles. So Antoinette, thanks a lot. I'm glad I bought those. And I am still working on my dragon. I haven't stuffed the body yet. That's gonna try to get the colors. No, it's not going to get the colors as much. This is Loops and Threads, Sweet Snuggles Light, and so is this. And this is the contrasting colors that I'm using. And here's the way it works out. So this is one of the wings. See if there's more coloring that way. A little bit. Okay. Now the other thing I made, another amigurumi. This is the little dragon pattern. I did get this, bought this from Etsy. I will try to link down in the description box. If not, I'll just put the name of the pattern and the designer. So here it is. Now, I brought the comparison out. So this was one of my very first, when I first started doing amigurumi. And I did the legs loose enough so that they can move. And the arms, and you can see how that my stitches are kind of loose because you can see the polyfill in there, and the head's not stuffed very well. My ears could have been sewn on a lot better, and I didn't use safety eyes. I just sewed on the eyes and the nose. So I've come a long way, as you can see, from where I started and where I am today. So that is that. Now the dragon that I'm doing, okay, I've done the head, and I'm sure I showed this because I'm sure I said that. My husband said it looked like a seal pup, and it did. Okay, so now what I've used is I figured out that if I use my knitting needles to hold the head into place before I sew it, when I sew it onto the body, it works great. And I don't get a lopsided head. Also, too, now, this head still needs the trim. So I've marked off where I want to start. I've marked off the middle and where I want to come out, because it kind of starts and goes out and then comes back in at the back, on the back side. So it goes like from here, comes back in. So I've got it marked where I want to stop and where I want to go out to and where I want to start. Now I'm doing this one a little bit different because usually the trim starts at the bridge of his snoot. Well, I'm starting up of the eyes. So I'm doing it slightly different. Now the pattern, I love making this pattern. It's fairly easy to make, works up fairly quickly. It's taking me longer to do this one because of the fact that if I'm not feeling up to crocheting, I don't. If I find I'm starting to make mistakes, I stop. So, and there was no timeline on this one. I had this commission. One of the girls, the younger ladies at work, asked for it. She bought my purple dragon, so, and then she picked out she said she wanted it green this time. So I sent her a picture of the green I had along with the contrasting, and she liked that. So I started it, and I am almost done. I am almost done my socks. I was at the point where I was about to start for the decrease on the toes, and I noticed that because I'm doing the afterthought heel, I have contrasting yarn in there, and it wasn't lining up with the first sock. So I ripped it back to where I had put in the contrasting yarn, and then I started again. So I did like about maybe an inch or two on there from where I had started again, and I noticed it still was not matching up. So I looked at it from the beginning, and I happened to notice that I did a lot more ribbing for the cuff on this second sock than I did from the first. So it's like, oh crap, now I gotta frog it back. I say frog because we rip it out. All the way back down to the ribbing and start over. Or pretty much just start the sock right over again. But I managed to put a stitch marker into where I wanted the ribbing to actually stop, and I ripped it back, and I was lucky I did not have to start over. I picked up the stitches on that row, and then I continued on, and right now I have about this much done from the ribbing, and they do match up now. That they are not color controlled, and it is a self-patterning yarn. So, but it's like they look good anyways. One, I did post it on the Yarny Yayas on Facebook, and one of the comments was to continue on and keep it as a mismatched pair. So, well, I had already ripped it out and was starting again, and I thought, oh boy, that my daughter would just love that. When she was in school, in high school, She wore a mismatched pair of socks on purpose on exam day, and she did pretty good. So if she couldn't find it, look out, because she was not a happy camper, and she searched and searched until she found the socks. She figured she might have been a little late sometimes, but she wore her socks, mismatched socks, and I keep forgetting to ask her if she still does that, wears her mismatched socks, because she's back in school. She's taking English Lit, and she did very well at the college, and on her first semester, her first term, whatever you want to call it, and she did have a heavy set of heavy set of classes to take during the first term. This term she has less classes, and they're all in the morning, so she doesn't have to worry about going in the evening, which is nice because they do live in downtown Toronto, and she walks because she says that the school is close to where they live, so she doesn't have to worry about taking the transit. Because when they moved from Calgary to Toronto years ago, her partner he'd sold his car to his sister, and they packed up and only took a U-Haul truck, and what didn't fit in the truck didn't go. So they sold off what they could and gave away what was left that they didn't want to bring with them. So they kind of started all over again, and they walk a lot. They walk everywhere they go, or they take the city transit. So I'm always curious to find out if she's still, now that she's back in school, if she wears the mismatched socks. Okay, so anyways, I digressed down the rabbit hole, and my mouth is getting dry. Just a second. Okay, so I will get back to my crocheting and try to finish my head and get it sewn on. I may not do the trim today. I have the faux fur from Michaels, the loops and threads, and I also have, but I don't think I have enough of the other faux fur that I have in white, because it goes from the above the eyes on the head all the way back and down the back side and down his tail. And I don't think I have enough of the other that I got from Temu to try, so I will stick with this one so I don't have to do continuations and then join my yarns. So, enough of that. Hope wherever you are, you're having a good day, and that you're staying safe. If you're traveling, safe travels to you. And until next time, this is Lorraine's Chatelainmakes saying, don't forget to stop and smell the coffee and the flowers. Or is that the other way around? I can't remember now. I'll have to watch one of my earlier videos, to see what my sign off is. Anyways, bye for now.